have rescheduled it for 4 o'clock. So
yeah, I guess I could have rescheduled things, but things were, you know what, at this time of the day, hey, everyone, we're just talking about the memories of daylight savings time and the fact that Kev used to be 6 hours ahead of me, but only is now 5 for a short period of time.
Yes, there was a slight miscommunication. I've got Dave going, you ready to go? You ready to go? And I'm like, there's an hour to go. Yeah, I've still got stuff I need to do.
Yep. Well, also, for me, it was like something similar. I was like, doing my steps as I do my early morning walk, and then I'm like, oh my god, it's 10 to 10. I got to be back. I'm sure Kev's pinging. I don't have Discord on my phone anymore. I'm sure Kev's hitting me with like all these reflections saying, hey, why aren't you in the studio? And I'm like, what? And I get home, I'm like, oh, wait, nothing's happening.
No, yeah, exactly. And then, like I say, you send out the link and all the rest of it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's got an hour to go yet. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
And apparently Kev's in England and he's due for 20 inches of snow soon. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I guarantee I know exactly how that will go. They'll get 20 inches of snow some parts of the country. And so far, all I've got is gale winds, which are abusing storage items in my garden. And it's wet. So if you suddenly hear massive, feedback or something, it's probably the wind blowing an absolute gale because I've got my window open slightly. But yeah, it's been a day. It has been a day.
Yeah. So what is it? Yeah, and I apologize to everyone at home. I'm having to use my backup camera because my camera I bought from the good quality camera I bought from Amazon is failing. So I'm like, maybe I should just go drive down to Best Buy later today and get one from the store and not worry about it.
It is Black Friday weekend or month or whatever.
Yeah, we have it here as well.
Yeah,
our Thanksgiving is like a month earlier.
Black Friday just does my freaking head in, mate. It was it was a bit of a unique thing. Now it's so commercialized. It's like, yeah, Black Friday sales, you get a $5 off. Like, really? And you see people queuing up from like 5 a.m, like a horde of zombies outside the doors of shops going, instead of brains, it's bargains. And they burst in there, and it's like, you don't need most of this stuff. You're saving yourself a couple of quid. For God's sake, you get the vouchers out of a newspaper article, and you can fucking save yourself that much. But
yeah, that's usually how it goes. No, I actually bought a soundbar a week ago, and I still have yet to figure out how to make it work on my TV.
It helps you plug it in.
I did plug it in, but there's like buttons and yet another remote. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just need one freaking remote instead of having 8 remotes and some of them are for TVs or devices I don't even own anymore.
But you don't want to throw them away just in case you've got that item somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, for God's sake, wouldn't it be nice if you could just get a remote which just had like a click switch between 10 different settings, and it's like setting 1, your TV, click it down 1, setting 2, your DVD, setting 3, your soundbar, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just,
I even like once tried to download an app to my phone to make it work, and it's like, is this particular product? Oh no, it's not. And then it was just like, it's like this. I thought the app would make it better, but it did not.
Hey, we got AMXF in the house.
Perfect.
Not sure why his comment's not showing up on the StreamYard side of it, but I'm seeing it on the actual back replay of the stream itself.
Mm-hmm.
But what up, my man? How you doing? And yes, by the way, we are 1 subscriber away.
Oh.
No, it's not top down. Not.
Yeah, I want to put the top 5. Clint, get this thing going on.
But yes, we are currently 1 subscriber away from getting the man, the ledge, to 100. So if you've got anybody in your family who has an account, just steal their phone off them, go onto it, and just hit the subscribe button quickly. They don't have to watch. It's appreciated if they do, but just get him. Let's see if we can get you to 100 during the show.
Yeah, right. That would be great.
And what is the title of this show, Dave?
And it's top 5 Clint Eastwoods that are not Dirty Harry, which is now scoring along the bottom.
Ah, yes, there you go. Not Daniel Craig. We did Daniel Craig a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And I really do regret, because one of my favorite Clint Eastwood's is the Deadpool. That movie is such a great send up of all the great way to finish that series. The great way to send up the car chase is one of the funniest and most deadly things, where he's being chased through the streets of San Francisco by the radio car that has the bomb on it. It's hilarious.
But it's not allowed.
Yeah, or the scene where he's like being told about his partner, and he's like, new partner, and he's like, "Hey, Sam," and the guy's like, "Sam's your new partner." It's like, "Well, have you asked him about that? Because all my partners have a habit of being either killed or in the hospital. You think he still wants to be my partner now?"
Yeah. Have you got a bulletproof vest? What? Yeah, well, you better get one.
Yeah.
That is a great movie. I mean, this to be honest with you, folks, was actually a very hard one. Because, like you say, we cannot count the Dirty Harrys, and if you go through his body of work, there is so many
Great movies.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling that I'm going to surprise Dave with a couple of my picks.
Yeah, and I think I might do the same with you, because I kind of chose, so definitely the movie that we both picked for number 1 last time, I decided not to choose that one because I feel that Kelly's Heroes is an ensemble movie.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yep. So it's not just Clint Eastwood, though it's otherwise it'd be probably on the list. But I felt I should show some more like Clint Eastwood as leading man standalone.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So that one's off of his list. Okay, so that's me buggered then, because I didn't realize. I thought I try to write down predictions of what you're picking, just to see if I'm in your head or not.
That one.
So that's not on his list. Okay, cross that one.
And we never compare notes, so that's always a thing. So, and another movie I know that is one of sometimes guest comic book Bob, but he couldn't make today.
Unfortunately, no. I did message him. He's working.
Yep. And that movie that I know it would have been on his list for certain, if not his number 1, definitely is not mine, because I find a different cowboy movie way better and it's more motivating.
So that one's off of his list as well. Right, bugger. Okay, and I'm not doing well with my predictions here, folks. Thank God I haven't gone to the bookies this weekend.
Yep. And then my I'm going to mention a movie that was mentioned on Twitter by one of our fans who was talking about thought The Beguiled should make the list. And The Beguiled is a very interesting movie. I have seen it. The Beguiled is about a Union soldier in the South who's wounded and is taken in by like a Southern boarding school of all of women. And they nurse him back to health, and he proceeds to have sex with all the women. And one of the reasons why
traumatic film.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that the girls he's sleeping with, he starts with the headmistress and to the very young. They are past puberty, but one of the girls is not much past puberty. And I was like, I could not.
It's a bit
conscious even consider this movie. It's an arts movie. It's a 70s movie. It is very. It has like Cuties. It has extreme. Value, extreme decisions were made, and though you don't see that particular child, it's clear that he did, and I would not put that on my list because of that. So it's if you're a Clint Eastwood completionist, it's a good movie, but I mean it's just just not one I can recommend because of extreme subject matter.
Yeah, it can be classed as problematic,
right?
Shall we say?
And we're guys who don't usually care about problematic movies.
Oh, hell no!
Some of our favorite movies would be considered problematic by most people, but then there's occasionally there
is a line that we try.
There's a line, and that movie crossed it.
Yeah. because we are, of course, scholars and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck am I kidding? I'm an orc and you're a bloody Canadian.
Yep.
We have no standards, but even we try and avoid certain topics.
Mm.
But yes, so okay, I'm not looking forward to your list now because I am wrong on 2 counts already.
Mm-hmm. Well, my number 5 is more of a movie that I also kind of chose because in my mind, Clint Eastwood has different periods of his theatrical releases.
Shall we say character growth as an actor?
Western young Clint Eastwood period, his Dirty Harry period with the 70s where he's doing like really things.
Mm-hmm.
80s action on line, and then his 90s movie. So my 5th movie comes from his 90s period, and which I think, or 90s to 2000 period. And it's not necessarily, I'm saying the greatest movie ever made, but it's definitely a personal favorite of mine. And that movie is Absolute Power.
Oh.
Clint Eastwood is playing a thief who breaks into a very very wealthy person's place, and he proceeds to murder being conducted by probably it's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And the president being played by none other than one of our other movies people we've covered, Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
And it proceeds to have some crazy stuff because the president wants to keep it covered up, so he's sending assassins after him. The guy whose wife is murdered is convinced that Clint Eastwood is responsible for the murder, so he's getting assassins sent after him. What's his name is the cop who's chasing him is one of the classics of 90s theater. I'm going to have to look it up.
Not Ed Harris.
Yes, it's Ed Harris.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
Harris
it is. Yes,
the cop who's trying to chase after him and solve the thing. And yeah, it's just all these different things. And I remember watching this movie in the theater, and when the last ending thing happens, because there's a line that's constantly said a couple times through the movie, and when we have the resolution, and the line is said, me and one other guy laughed out loud, and the rest of the movie theater was silent. But it was just so perfect. So this movie, it's one of those 90s movies that I think has been falling off the radar of a lot of people. But I really think if you really want to go see Clint Eastwood in his a real undiscovered gem for Clint Eastwood, you should watch Absolute Power.
I have to admit, this was an honorable mention for me.
Mm-hmm.
This was an honorable mention for me. I remember seeing, I have to admit, I haven't seen it in about 18 years myself.
Same here.
But I actually saw this one at the cinema or theatre, as Yanktowners call it. But I do actually remember it gripped me all the way through because it's not the most fast-paced movie. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the most fast-paced movie, and sometimes that's really hard to watch in a cinema because you're not constantly going, "What the fuck?" But this one actually did keep me engaged and not thinking about going for a piss the whole way through. So no, that is a good one. That is a nice one to start off the list with.
Yeah, for me, it's like of that period. He's got Blood Work is the other one who comes to my mind of that period of his things. But I just thought this one was just had so many gold moments that kind of stood out for me. Whereas with Blood Work, there's only one real shocking scene in that movie.
Yeah,
that really made it for me. So
no, definitely. Right, okay, right. So my number 5 pick is one which is a little bit more fun. It's got a little bit more of a comedic element to it, and that is Any Which Way But Loose.
Oh.
Now, this is not his most sterling work by any stretch of the imagination, but this to me is one you can go back and rewatch every couple of years and still enjoy. And basically, in this film, he is a bare knuckle boxer, doing the old fights in, building sites, wherever there's a prize person. He's traveling around doing this sort of thing. But it's his companion that actually really sells it to me, Clive. This is where that meme "right turn Clive" comes from, because his companion Clive is an orangutan. That's right. You have Clint Eastwood as a bare knuckle boxer driving around with an orangutan. And unfortunately, the orangutan hasn't even got 1 billion on IMDb, which is a shame because he's done at least 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one I picked because this was the first of the 2. You had Any Which Way But Loose, and then you had Any Which Way You Can. But this one is, to me, it's fun. Clint Eastwood he's doing. It's hard to quantify because he's doing the tough guy act, but then there's the emotional bond he has with Clive. It's almost like Clive's a surrogate son. Do you get what I mean by that?
Yeah.
And it's just the way, I'm trying to, it sounds really, like I say, it sounds really bizarre. Clint Eastwood's a bare knuckle boxer with a monkey, but it just works. Right. And folks, remember, this was, what was this, 70, oh Christ, hold on, what was this, 70, oh, why am I forgetting the date on this? This was 78.
Yeah.
So this was before CGI and anything. So this was actually a real orangutan. And the orangutan nails it as well. I mean, I'd love to see all the behind the scenes bloopers of shit going on, because I say never work with children or animals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. It's just such a fun movie. It's got a bit of action. It's got the comedy. I'm just, like I say, it's hard to quantify exactly what it is, because it's not a straight up comedy. It's not a straight up actiony movie. It's got several different elements to it. And like I say, you can go back and watch this every couple of years. I mean, if you watch it every month, you get sick of it, but you get sick of most movies doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think it might well be. I think you're right.
I think he's right there. Yeah.
Channel. I think this is the first time I've seen you comment here.
Hit the sub button. Hit the sub button. Come on, dude. Come on. Be the 100th. Be the 100th, dude.
I'm at 99 subscribers. We're just waiting for one more.
But yes, I think he is right.
It'll be great.
I think he is right that Clive is the limo driver in Cannibal Run 2.
Which a movie I do own somewhere around here.
Oh, I think I've got Cannibal Run 1 and 2. I've got Smokey and the Bandit 1 and 2 somewhere. I don't have 3, but that wasn't the best in the world.
I only own Smokey and the Bandit 1. The other ones just don't really catch it.
Well, the second one with the giant fight between and what was it? The second one was with the elephant as well.
Yeah.
But then again, they were, you think about it, Burt Reynolds and why can I never remember his name? The comedian who played the Doctor. He was his partner in Cannibal Run as well.
Oh, Dom Lewis.
Yeah, that's the one. So they were doing, they did a lot together. So sorry, Clive, sorry, you got completely distracted there. We're going off on a tangent. Oh, he says
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much.
He says he already has. Let's have a look. Maybe he's subbed before.
Yeah,
maybe he's subbed.
He's subbed before. He's commenting, I think.
Yes. Well, good to have you here, dude. Good to have you here.
Okay. So what is it? Number 5. That was your number 5.
That was my number 5.
What is it? My number. Before I go into my number 4, I wanted to get into another honorable mention, because I feel that we're going to have so many honorable mentions when we're dealing with Clint Eastwood. My next one is one of my favorite of the spaghetti western era, though I chose only one to go on the list, and it's of course the best of that era. But one of my favorites of that is Hang 'Em High. Yeah, which is a movie I saw as a kid, and it's about him, of all those weird ones of his. I feel, with a semi-supernatural kind of idea. This time when he's not, it's just he's a guy who's bought some horses. Some people think he's a horse thief, so they have decide to hang him on the spot. And then he later survives, goes to the local town, and becomes like a shit.
He's a marshal, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a marshal for the territory and has to go and hunt down every one of the people responsible for hanging him. And he brings them back, and some of them get hanged, some of them do different things. But the whole, what I think feels so great about the movie is especially the ending, where it's the idea where the judge is giving this, who's played by one of the great actors too, whose name escaping me. Where he's like talking about like, you're right. We need to turn this territory into a state. So it won't be me that's making all the decisions around here. We need a state legislature. We need this and all this other stuff. And you can help me build this thing so you and I will be irrelevant.
Yeah. We will no longer be needed. And it's Pat Hingle. Pat Hingle.
Message. Yes, it was Pat Hingle. Yeah.
Yes. People might know him as Commissioner Gordon in Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in Quick and the Dead, actually, you know. His actual list is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Talladega Nights. Sorry.
And without further ado, I'm going to just... my fourth pick is, of course, the best one of the spaghetti Western series. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and you've got two of them here on stream right now, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sadly, Bob couldn't make it, so we're out without the ugly.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was going to say something else, but okay, we can go with that one. And Bob, if you're watching on the
I might have
replay,
said something different, but that's his loss.
Yeah.
So this one, of course, is like of all those spaghetti Western movies. It's the great final epic. They originally packaged it's the highlight of the Dollars trilogy, which was originally packaged as a 3-movie deal, even though they're kind of different. So a few dollars more, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's like you have the 3 great actors who are in that movie, and it's all about this quest for a bunch of dead man's gold, and it's just this crazy trip across the Old West, in as it was truly made in the deserts of Spain.
Hence the phrase spaghetti Western.
Right, but yeah, it's just it's such a great movie with all those different things. The one that always strikes me is the scene where the South and the North are fighting over this bridge. And both sides are just getting killed for the purposes of this bridge. And Clint Eastwood's character and what's his name character from Magnificent Seven, whose actor is escaping me now.
Not Yul Brynner. Was it? No, it wasn't Yul Brynner, was it?
No.
I'm trying to think. Oh,
the bad guy in Magnificent Seven is exactly in this one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I can't remember his name.
Yeah. So the two of them decide, well, we have to stop this slaughter. We'll blow up the bridge so they'll have nothing to fight over.
Well, there is logic to it.
Yeah, it is. And it just has so many things where these 3 great actors and 3 characters are on this collision course for a final, and it all ends up in a Mexican standoff, and whether or not you could truly trust your friends. And of course, the final scene where Clint Eastwood and that actor had their finally determined that they trust each other in a certain fashion.
To a point.
Yeah, to a point.
Van Cleef
is one of the actors. He's the bad, the ugly, whose name I can't remember.
Oh God, where am I? I'm trying to find Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on his IMDb.
Yeah, I have it here. It's going to be, when I say it, I'm going to be like,
damn it,
Eli Wallach.
There you go.
Oh, there's Bob.
Oh, Bob has appeared.
Send you a link if you want to come on.
Yeah, Bob, if you want to come in, come in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to send him the link?
I already sent him the link on Discord.
Cool.
If you want to send him on Twitter,
I will grab the link and I will send him that on Twitters.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if he wants to come in.
Yep.
Oh, he's working.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well. Okay, Bob.
No problem.
Screw you.
So yeah, I says we haven't got to that part of the list yet, but yeah. So that was my number 4. Is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. Right. My number 4. Funny enough, we both picked a Western for number 4. Mine is Unforgiven.
Oh, you put it so low on your list. I'm surprised.
Yeah. No, because I mean, this is a great Western movie. We've talked about it before, and so that's part of the reason why it's lower on my list. But also, it's the ensemble cast as well. It's Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris. I mean, everybody knows this story. It's the aging gunmen, it's the aging gunfighters, going out for one last hurrah.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I say, you have to have at least one Western movie when you're mentioning Clint Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yes, the spaghetti Westerns, they're great films, but you can see how cheap the production was, and they're not as enjoyable to watch nowadays because of the cheapness of it, and the bad dubbing on some bits, etc., etc. But Unforgiven. Oh, hello.
Go ahead. I just take it.
But Unforgiven is actually just a perfect send-off for that phase of Clint Eastwood's career, if you want to put it that way. It feels to me like it's the what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? It should be the swan song of his Western. What? Sorry. What's that? Wrong move. William Money in Unforgiven is Eastwood's most epic badass. No, he's not Eastwood's most epic badass.
Oh, that's got to be Dirty Harry.
Exactly, but we're not allowed to pick Dirty Harry.
Right.
So yeah, but Unforgiven to me, like I say, it's the swan song. It's Clint Eastwood admitting that he's too old for this shit. It's like Riggs and Murtaugh. We're too old for this shit. You have the whole scene where he's trying to get back into practice with the pistol and all the rest of it. He couldn't hit the floor if he fell over. You know what I mean? And to the point where he just goes with the shotgun. No, it's not got to be number 1. This is the thing. This is all opinion based. This is all our own opinions, and we don't collude beforehand. We don't pick films beforehand. We don't tell each other that there are lists. So for me, Unforgiven, great swan song to the cowboy Western Clint Eastwood character roles. Some of the best supporting cast. I mean, geez, how many times have we talked about Gene Hackman being one of the best supporting actors of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've mentioned that probably every other show we do. But
including the Gene Hackman movie stream.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a good one. That really was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Unforgiven, my number 4. We've talked about it 1,000,001 times. Money could take Harry any day, especially in his heyday.
Know. I was watching that scene from the coffee scene the other day, from where he's like in the where he basically nails 5 guys in 10 seconds. That was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Go ahead, make my day.
I've
been here for 10 years and having coffee black every day. And today, she put sugar in it.
Bob says his list: Unforgiven, Outlaw Josie Wells, High Plains Drifter, Anyway Each Way But Loose. That was my number 5 pick, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
If you at least showed up to watch from the beginning, you would have known that. Mm-hmm. And Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, now, I just finally watched Outlaw Josie Wales this week. I was not a big fan. It's okay. It's just like I would think there's so many more movies I have picked over that one.
Yeah. And now I've got to say, Heartbreak Ridge is one of my honorable mentions. If I was to be perfectly honest with you, that probably would have been 6th, maybe 7th in my list. I don't know about you, Dave.
I'll get to that in a moment.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
But yeah.
So my next honorable mention is another movie that he is in, and that is The Rookie, which I think is just a great gem of a movie. Another one of those movies that come out of the 90s period. I think that's kind of lost with Charlie Sheen playing the new
and Raul Julia.
Yeah. Playing that the new kid in the detective pool, and just being like put in there as Clint Eastwood's partner in this. It's like a low stakes thing where they're up against a car theft ring, and there's just so many fun little moments. It's a quite great gem of a movie, and I think more people should spend some time finding that movie and watching it. And I might actually go and buy it after this stream if I can find it, because it's such a great little movie that's kind of been forgotten in the grand scheme of things for both those actors' career.
And I might talk about that movie a little bit later.
Oh, really? Okay, excellent.
See, we don't plan this out, folks.
A movie that I'm pretty sure no one has would think would be on the list, but I love it. It's the Eiger Sanction. From 1975. So Clint Eastwood is playing this like CIA semi-retired assassin named John Hemlock. And he's called back from duty to do an extremely dangerous, like, he has to identify the assassin who betrayed his friend, and then kill the assassin, and get that guy. And the situation evolves that he only has a short list of 4 people that are on it. They're all going on what is this incredibly dangerous, like, mountain climbing expedition up something called the Eiger mountain. And Clint Eastwood had previously been on a attempt on that mountain before, and was the sole survivor. His character was. So he's brought in as a specialist, and he has to identify who's responsible for what happened and kill them and make it look like an accident. And the final scene of the movie, but even by telling you this, is not. I think it's a great way to be a trailer for the movie and not a spoiler. Is to say, well, I'm glad you took care of the problem, Mr. Hemlock, but did you really have to kill all of them? And it's such a weird movie from the 70s when the 70s had all those movies about assassins and killers and all these things that were happening, these weird anti-hero movies that were that were about like secret conspiracies and secret conspiracy of assassins that were coming out because of all the things like from the JFK assassination to the RFK assassination and all these other things that were happening. And I think the Eiger Sanction is probably one of the best of that pick. And I really love this movie, and I really suggest people go out and give it another chance. It's a great 70s movie.
I've got to be honest, I haven't seen it. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, and Peter, got to leave the pub and see the kids.
No problem.
Well, if you think family's more fucking important than helping Dave get to 100 subscribers, then go for it. But
family's more important. This guy thinks family's more important than leaving the pub. I mean,
yeah, I know. Jesus, that does not compute. I really don't understand that at all. And just to emphasize the point, I don't understand at all. If I could do this show from the pub, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and he also says my top 5.
He has to give us that list, but I'm sure it'll come up shortly.
I'm sure he's thinking about it, and he's probably going to be completely wrong no matter what. Oh, here we go. He says 1 to 2. Sorry, there we go. Now it's showing up on the StreamYards. That's weird. StreamYards is been slower than the playback stream. That's weird. But okay, do you want to read his list? and then give me your thoughts.
The first two is like either Unforgiven or Gran Torino, and I will admit I've yet to see Gran Torino.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen as many of his latest stuff as
no, me neither. Me neither.
3, Where Eagles Dare. So, a strange one. I wanted to watch that movie this week in the preparation for this, but I thought he was in The Eagle Has Landed with Michael Caine, and it turns out he isn't. So my intent is to watch Where Eagles Dare after this stream is over, if I can find it. It's either The Rookie or this one. $1 Million Baby, another one of those movies that I've heard a lot about but have yet to see.
Yeah, I like you say, I'm same as you. Anything I think over early 2000s, I don't think I've really seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's been more directing, hasn't he? So.
And High Plains Drifter, yes, a good solid movie, but I just didn't put it on. I thought Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is just it's a great Clint Eastwood movie, and it's just a great movie overall. Mm-hmm. And the fact that in that first time I think I really talked to you, Kev, is in that weird nerd war we did online where I defended the Dollars trilogy against
oh God,
the Future trilogy, and I was
robbed. Oh, you were not robbed. Not being funny. Back to the Future trilogy over the Dollar trilogy any day of the week.
I out-argued that guy, but the judge decided she didn't give the guy more time.
Oh yeah, always cry foul afterwards.
To give my opponent more time. I was like, what is going on here?
But yeah, he actually says High Plains Drifter or Any Which Way But Loose.
Yeah.
So he's picked the same number 5 as me. He's picked the same number 5 as me. Mm-hmm. Any Which Way But Loose. Mm-hmm. Right. So what is this? My number 3, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, my number 3. Where Eagles Dare. So this guy's actually got a half decent bit of taste. Because, you know, he's picked the same number 5 as me and the same number 3. And this is such... I mean, if you're looking for iconic war movies, you can't get much better than this. I mean, Richard Burton, you know, Clint Eastwood, you know, it's... I mean, I'm just trying to think how you can speak about this movie. It's just... I mean... They're on a mission to... fucking hold on. Let me just...
Army general, apparently.
Mm-hmm. But it's got so much tension. I mean, the ski lift thing, whatever. Can't remember because we don't have them in this country.
Cable car.
The cable car. That's the word I was looking for. It's a bloody Saturday, folks. Give me a break here. But the whole setup. I mean, it's a bit of a team building thing. There's the espionage side of it. The action is fantastic for those days. I mean, when was this done? This was done 68. Sorry, yeah. But this to me, I mean, this Guns of Navarone, you know, if you're talking classic war movies, this is right up there. Like I say, this, Guns of Navarone. Why am I blanking? Jesus Christ, you'd think that I hadn't been drinking for 4 hours already, wouldn't you? But no, Eagles Dare. It's just one of those. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I pissed off because it was actually broadcast on TV about 3 weeks ago. And I saw it, and it was 5 minutes from the end, and I was like, oh, bollocks. So I was going to go back and watch it, and then, as we say over at Green Zone, life gets in the way. So, but this, to me, I mean, I just remember Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton. I mean, Richard Burton, a lot of people nowadays don't know who Richard Burton is. But, I mean, you know, I mean, he's got such classic... I mean, yeah, fucking his last film... Richard Burton was 1984. Was his last actual thing. And he'd been nominated for 7 Oscars himself. Now, he was in 1984, for God's sakes. You know, George Orwell's 1984. And, yeah, another classic film that he was in was The Wild Geese.
Yes, I have seen that. That one's great.
Oh, yeah. Second one, yeah.
I actually like the second one better than the Wild Geese, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but you know me. I'm more of a originals over remakes, or... I mean, they're very rare.
That's a remake. It's just more like, hey, we had such a fun time making that first movie. Let's do
another one.
Again. Yeah. with the same cast doing a different adventure.
Yeah. But, I mean... So yeah, Where Eagles Dare for me, one of the best, sort of like war movies. I mean, they're very rare. It's just more like, hey, we had such a fun time making that first movie. Let's do another one. Again. But I mean, so yeah, Where Eagles Dare for me, one of the best, one of the best war movies. One of the best, sort of like war movies. I mean, they're very rare. in a generation. So, and yeah, this guy Peter, yeah, 2 we agree with. Unforgiven, Gran Torino I haven't seen, but yeah. Sorry, so that's my number 3 pick.
Okay.
And you really need to watch it, mate. Really.
Oh yeah.
I'll find you a link and send you it.
So my number 2 is let's just see if I got another honorable mention here that I should mention before I go to number 2. You know what? It's another one that's when I was going through his list of movies, there was one here that I saw that I was like, I can't believe this movie is not one that gets as much attention. And it's another little lost gem. It's called Coogan's Bluff. And Coogan's Bluff is about like if anyone's familiar with the 70s TV show McCloud, it's very much in the same.
Yeah, wasn't that the Highlander thing?
No. Basically, it's about like a Western cop from the modern times, so the 1960s, who has to go and get a criminal who goes to New York on an extradition case to get like a criminal and bring him back to his state. And of course, that criminal escapes. And so you have this fish out of water situation where Clint Eastwood is like the cowboy lost in New York. And we've seen this a lot with like shows like Justified and, like I said, McCloud and just all these other ones. But this was kind of the original of that kind of thing. So it's a nice, when I saw it, I couldn't justify putting it on the list. But for a spare honorable mention, I'm more than willing to put it up there. So if you guys want to take a chance on seeing another one of these lost classics of Clint Eastwood that doesn't get much time as it used to, I watched a lot of these old movies on A&E back when Arts and Entertainment, A&E stood for Arts and Entertainment.
A&E, what we call accident and emergency.
Yeah.
In the UK, so A&E is where you go in the ambulance.
So yeah, that's one of those movies I watched back then. My number 2 is a movie that was mentioned, and I believe Kev said he would make it number 6 or 7, and that is Heartbreak Ridge. Which, as far as I can tell, is like one of the few movies that's actually about the invasion of Grenada. But it's
there's not many of them.
It's such a great movie where Clint Eastwood is the sergeant who is being sent in to whip these guys into shape, and this Marine Recon Squad who's been let on easy street. And what is it? The captain, when he's
oh yeah, they're the misfits, aren't they? Really?
Yeah,
it's the misfits.
The captain in there, and he sits, looks at when he's showing up for his tour of duty. The captain looking at his record, and he's like, "Really, Gunny? What we need to do with you is put you in a locked case, and with a sign that says only smash in case of war."
Yeah, in case of war, break glass or something. You know? Yeah. No. But there are some great, like, I mean, it's like what is it when they're doing the nighttime exercise, because the captain in charge, he was supply, wasn't he?
Yep.
And he's trying to get night vision goggles, and he's like, well, if you filled the forms out, whatever, and he just looks at him and goes, if we were really going to war, I wouldn't be fucking about with forms, you know, something to that effect, because he's like, you know, you haven't filled out the proper paperwork. If this was a real scenario, I wouldn't be fucking about with paperwork. To paraphrase. And you have like Mary Van Peebles in this.
Yeah, very young Mario Van Peebles. I think the only thing he was doing at that time was LA Law.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole situation where they're like, he comes out and wears a different shirt every day, and they have to guess what shirt he's wearing.
And if not, they have to
the clues.
Yeah. And they're like they try and bribe his maid or whatever, you know. Isn't that how they
can let us know what he's wearing? He's like, when you figure out how to adapt or survive to this condition, Marines, you will know what's happening. And they figure it out, and he's like,
all the way to the point where what is it that he's getting them running and all the rest of it. And the first time they're like, let's smoke, because he's doing it at a steady pace, and they're like, let's smoke this guy. So they all burn past him, and then fucking you see him just carrying on. All of a sudden, they're all on the ground dying, and he just keeps jogging past. And they're like, and then the Swede, what is it? The Swede, they call him.
Mm-hmm.
The giant bloke comes out. They're like, no, we just leave it to. Oh, but that's the point as well. Mary Van Peebles, when he first meets Clint Eastwood, is when Clint Eastwood's traveling to his posting, and he doesn't know who Mario is, and Mary doesn't know he is, and he robs him.
Yep.
Doesn't he?
Yep.
He fucking robs Clint Eastwood.
Or when they're doing their parajump, and the guy's like, "Sir, Sergeant Gunny, I don't want to jump out of the helicopter, the plane." And the guy's like, "I don't want to jump out of the helicopter either." He's like, "Or sorry, I'm too scared to jump." And he's like, "I'm scared too, soldier." He's like, "What? You're scared of something, Gunny?" And it seems a terrible idea to jump out of a perfectly working airplane.
But yeah. And then, like I say, that they're like, they will just keep going until the Swede arrives, and they'll kick the shit out of him, and things go back to Easy Street. And he just does him in like 2 punches.
Right. Oh, it's such a great movie. It's a war movie, and it really like just highlights something that a lot of people. This is also coming out of the time in the 80s when, in the Vietnam era, when they're rehabilitating the U.S. Army a bit after all the stuff that happened in Vietnam, and it kind of fell into disrepute. So people are starting to feel proud about being in the U.S. Army again. And that kind of very Reagan, all that stuff coming back. It's a very good movie for its time. To me, this and Red Dawn are 2 of my favorite 80s war movies.
Red Dawn's such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, for God's sake, Charlie Sheen isn't even billed on that.
Mm-hmm.
When that came out, he wasn't even on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's such a good movie. I love that.
Okay.
And don't bother watching the remake. The remake, that's absolute
as soon
garbage.
as they told me they were switching to North Korea, I was like, yeah, screw off. This is stupid now.
Yeah. It's even worse than that. They missed the whole point of Red Dawn in the remake. To the point where, spoilers, by the way, folks, for a film that's 30 years old, all of the Wolverines die, apart from the girls, which they, because they sacrifice themselves to help them get over the mountains. They missed the whole point of it, because at the end of the remake, it's like, and we're going to keep fighting and we're going to win. USA, USA, USA.
Yeah, no, that's not the point of that movie at the end.
No.
For a movie that people once said it was like the first PG movie, and it was like had one of the highest body counts of any movie until like one of the diehards, I think it would have like 130 people get shot in that movie.
Yeah. Well, come on, Red Dawn opening sequence, you've got fucking high school kids getting mowed down by Russian paratroopers.
Right.
Because they land in the schoolyard and the teacher goes out, so they shoot him because they don't speak American. And then they just unload AKs into schoolrooms and all the rest of it. Yeah, and I mean,
and a lot of people think of this movie is all about glorification of violence, but when you see the ending, it's not. It's like, it's just,
God, no. Red Dawn doesn't glorify violence at all. If you remember the fucking first time they ever kill anybody, they're sick. They're physically sick and traumatized by it almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Patrick Swayze stepping up to the plate, because they kill their fucking parents and all the rest of it because they found out who they are. Yep. And it's like, that's when, they were just living there. They didn't do anything. They were just hiding out. And then they had to kill a couple of them. And then the Russians find out, kill their parents. And that's when they start going on the rampage.
Yep.
It's,
Though the one line is like, hell yeah, it's convenient. We've seized the courthouse, so we now know where all the guns are.
It's
the firearms registry. Now we know where to go and round up all the rebels.
Yes, because they own guns.
Yeah. Anyways,
yes,
that was my number 2 pick. What's your number 2 pick?
Well, first up, like I said, Heartbreak Ridge is an honourable mention of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 2 pick is The Rookie. Like you say, this is Dirty Harry-esque to a point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, like you say, more low stakes. It's a international group of sports car thieves,
right?
Run by Raul Julia, who is awesome in everything he does. He was the best thing in the Street Fighter movie, for God's sake, because you can just tell he's hamming it up and just taking the piss and having fun.
Yeah, apparently he knew he had cancer when he was making that movie, and he went to his kids and said, "I have all these roles. Which one do you think I should do?" And they said, "Do the Street Fighter movie. We'll love it." Yeah.
So yeah, exactly, and that was pretty much his last movie, and he did it for his kids, which is fair enough, you know. But yeah, so you got Raul Julia, Clint Eastwood, Charlie Sheen. Like you say, Charlie Sheen, to begin with, he's a bit of a know-nothing. You know, I mean, what was it? First introduced to Clint Eastwood's character is when his previous partner is actually been held hostage because he's undercover, and they give him a gun, and they say to him, "Shoot! He's a cop. Shoot him!" And he's standing there and he's pointing the gun at his partner, and he actually pulls the trigger. But it's unloaded, and after everything goes down, his partner's like, "For God's sake, how did you? What do you do?" And he's like, "I could tell by the weight of the gun there was no bullets in it." Well, maybe there could have been one in the chamber, but you know. And you know, Charlie, like you say, Charlie Sheen, he's fucking clean cut. Believe it or not, Charlie Sheen trying to play clean cut, you know, married family man kind of cop. And Charlie Sheen's transformation through the film is a thing of beauty as well. You know, like I say, he starts off clean cut. They go to that biker bar, and he gets the absolute living piss beaten out of him. And Clint Eastwood just doesn't give a fuck. And then later on, after Clint Eastwood is being kidnapped and taken hostage, he walks into the bar, that same bar, and he beats the shit out of the entire fucking bar. Because they've taken his wife hostage as well, haven't they? They threatened his wife. And there's that what is that, Lamborghini, I think it was. And it's like, you know what the real crime here is? Taking a beautiful car like that and painting it that colour. Because it's this horrible lime green. And this is a lot of fun. This movie is, like you say, great bit of late 80s, early 90s, tough guy action nostalgia movie, which just doesn't get old.
Making the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, they knew they weren't making Oscar bait here, and they just rolled with it and had fun with it. So that is my number 2. Although I do have an honourable mention, another honourable mention, True Crime. This was another one I actually saw in the cinema. What was this? 90. Well, God, what was it? 98 or something? Sorry, 99. Yeah, about you know, he's a journalist, and he basically, you know, you shouldn't be talking about this. You know, it's one of those, you know, the line between investigate, you know, journalism and self-preservation, and you know, how much duty does a journalist have? It's because he's not, you know, he's not a tough bad guy. I mean, what was it? Dennis Leary was in this as well, wasn't he? I think Dennis Leary showed up in this. He was like the office arsehole or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just checking.
It definitely has been so long for me that I don't remember. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I need to watch it. Yeah,
Dennis Leary was in this. James Woods was in this as well. You know, it was a good, fun drama. Not an action movie, because, you know, he was getting on a bit by this. He's getting on a bit at this stage of his career, so he's taking a bit more subtle roles. And this was kind of his start of his evolution into bigger and better things than just being the Hollywood tough guy. You know, and I'm trying to remember, because I know he directed this. What was his first directorial credit? I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I'm having to scroll through.
I think it was one of the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, no, fuck me. His director credits. Oh shit! I didn't realize this. His director credits go back to 1971. Jesus. Yeah, no, all the way back. He directed Firefox, for God's sake. So he's been directing. Wow, I did not realize. So it was nowhere near his directorial debut. So ignore what I just said there.
Yeah.
The benefits of actually doing research. But yeah, so that was an honourable mention there with True Crime. But my number 2 pick was The Rookie, because it's just fun.
Yeah, his earliest one is Play Misty for me.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. This man is a legend of the film industry. But yeah.
So my guess was I played Drifter, but it's no, the Play Misty for me was his first. What is it? Yeah, so back around to me. So my last honorable mention is another movie in that kind of vein of fun. And Pink Cadillac,
Mm.
where is a great little gem of a movie that it's definitely not in the top 10, but it's just a fun little movie where he plays this bail bondsman who has to go on the road to find this legendary car that's been stolen by this girl, and and it ends up with the cult, and there's all sorts of little like very Tarantino-esque style stuff that's happening in that little movie, and I do recommend it if you have some time to go back and watch that one. But my number one is a movie that I rated higher than Unforgiven, which I don't think is even in like. I know a lot of people think it's his greatest one, but his greatest one is his Return to the Mysterious Stranger, and that's Pale Rider, which is, as far as I'm concerned, his finest work. The whole like him being this mysterious stranger that comes to this town. It's got Michael Moriarty and they drag him back, and it's quite clear that he's like a rough man doing rough things. And then you find out that no, in the end, the wife is about to throw him out, even though they're just letting him stay for the night. And when he comes out and is wearing his collar of a preacher, and you find out that he's unlike Mooney, who's found a good woman who settled him down, Clint Eastwood found God and has had him settle down. And the whole movie of like great action sequences when that squad of high-priced soldiers comes to town to take him out, and he has that gunfight against 7 badasses, and even the Shane scene at the end when he's riding off into the distance. This movie is just my favorite Clint Eastwood movie, hands down. And it doesn't get the love that I think it deserves because Unforgiven got all the Oscar bait, but I think this is the best of the returns to the spaghetti western. He's at his prime here. He's not over the hill as he is in Unforgiven. And I guess in some ways, I think Unforgiven's more better for Gene Hackman and some of the supporting, and Morgan Freeman and the other supporting actors, where this one is all about Clint Eastwood really bringing it.
Yeah, you make a solid argument there with, the supporting cast of Unforgiven versus this.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there is no wrong answers here. Mm-hmm. And that is a nice solid pick. Like I say, I was trying to steer away from Westerns to a point because it's a bit clichéic, but no, nice pick. And right, so is it my number one?
Yeah, it's your number one. Go.
Right, well, I was going to give an honorable mention to Space Cowboys just because that was fun.
Nice, and like in the way of Pink Cadillac, but it's not a great movie. But
it's not.
The fact that Clint Eastwood brought all those actors together to make that movie is pretty fun.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the fun bits is getting all of them together on screen. So, but no, my number one pick for Clint Eastwood, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be surprised by this. My number one pick is Kelly's Heroes.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you would know that you were going to know that. I'm pretty sure you'd guess that.
I told you it was off my list, and you're like, damn it.
Yeah. I mean, yes, okay. This is the second show in a row where I picked Kelly's Heroes as my number one pick. Last time round, it was top 5 heist movies that weren't Ocean's 11 or the Ocean's franchise. We were including the Rat Pack ones in that.
Yeah.
But this, again, it's just this movie to me, it's just so much fun. There's so much entertaining. It's the way Clint Eastwood motivates, it helps motivate and bring together the crew, if you want to call it, all the way through. It's some of the deadpan one-liners he mentions. He brings up. It's the whole thing is just an epic masterpiece, in my opinion. And this is one that I could watch every sodding month, and it would not get bored. It would not get boring for me. It's. You
mean you don't?
I don't get bored with this movie. No.
I mean you don't get. You don't watch it every month.
No. Well, I used to have it on DVD. I have lost that, and I now have no way of playing my DVDs at the moment because I do not have a viewing device compatible with my DVDs.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on somebody to bloody bring one round, which they owe me. So yeah, but no, my number one pick is Kelly's Heroes because if you haven't seen it, it's just a classic. I mean, this was 1970. It's a World War II movie, but it's not about grandiose stakes. You know, it's not about freeing the world from the evil tyranny of the Axis, because we don't want to say the N-word because, you know, YouTube doesn't like the N-word.
Yeah.
It's not about it. It's small stakes. Well, if you count multi-million dollars worth of gold bullion as small stakes, but in a war you could kind of class it as that. And it's Donald Sutherland, tell us about it. It's got everything going for it. And yes, I mean, you said you count it more of a bit of an ensemble cast. I don't think it would have worked if it was anybody else apart from Clint Eastwood in the role.
Yeah.
As Kelly.
Oh, you don't think George C. Scott could pull off a Kelly?
No, I don't. No, I think without Clint Eastwood as Kelly, this does not work as a movie. Or if it does, it just gets relegated to that.
Yeah,
1970s
I agree. There's not
status.
many other actors who could pull off that kind of Clint Eastwood style. I mean, I was just thinking, like, you know, Burt Reynolds would just hammed it up and made it. He would not been able to play it straight, right?
No, exactly. Burt Reynolds not. You know, Tom Selleck definitely not. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a couple of modern actors who could pull it off.
Yeah. You can
But
see
this was-
Jason Statham could pull that particular type of thing off because he has that.
Yeah, but then
it would be turned into a more martial arts style thing. But
Yeah.
he's remade some movies like that. He actually remade a movie that Burt Reynolds made. He did it better, in my opinion, too.
No, he remade. Remade Death Race. Come on, Statham did Death Race. You know, the David Carradine, Sylvester Stallone, Cheeseball Joy from the early 70s, I think it was.
Yeah, but they didn't ham it up quite as well as the original. The original is way better because it's so ridiculous.
Oh yeah, what was it? Tommy the Machine Gun was Stallone, and then you had that little callback in Rocky 5, wasn't it? No, Rocky 4. With his protege Tommy, calls him the Machine Gun as well. You know, but no. So Kelly's Heroes to me is just one of those pretty much perfect movies. So I had to put that as number one again. Hopefully, we'll do a subject matter. Our subject matter for the next one will not involve Kelly's Heroes.
Oh yeah, I think I have because of the holiday season. I have a great idea for a stream.
Oh yeah.
Top 5 Christmas movies that are not Die Hard.
Oh, hoo-hoo.
So you have to think of Christmas movies that are like Die Hard that aren't, and I have several in my mind already that would qualify. So we'll try to avoid the traditional Christmas movies and do like movies set around Christmas that are action movies, I would think. I already have one, and the actor was previously mentioned earlier this stream that would be on my list.
Okay, okay, so top 5 Christmas movies, not Die Hard. I'm going to have to give that some thought because there is a lot. Not Die Hard. So not Die Hard 2 either. But no, right. So that'll be the next one we do, folks. Will be unless
I doubt it would be on anyone's list, but Reindeer Games is definitely an example of the type of movie I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's not bad. That was Ben Affleck, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, where they're knocking over the casino. That wasn't a bad movie actually. That got slated a bit more than it should have, to be honest with you. But no. So that unless folks, especially you guys watching on the replay. Leave your comments down below after you've, of course, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and played with David's bell so you get alerts every time he's on.
Wow, Ronin counts as one of the movies that's set around Christmas.
Ronin?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't. It doesn't really strike me as the more,
No,
but it's set around that time. I definitely saw a few on this IMDb's top 20 Christmas movies that are action movies. Several ones that will go on my list now that I've refreshed it. But like, oh, really? That one? Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I definitely remember people wearing Samuel L. in a Santa suit in the long kiss goodnight. So
yeah. Oh.
So.
Oh, that's such a good. That's again a underrated gem of a movie. That Gina
Davis kind of fallen off of people's radars. There's so many great movies that were falling off people's radars that we get to go and talk about in this stream, and I hope more people get a chance to watch it. And yeah, my Chuck Norris stream is up to 2,000 views now.
Damn,
watching this stuff.
Jesus Christ! Well done, well done, man. Fuck me, we should just do another Chuck Norris one then.
Yeah, well, that's something I've certainly been thinking of doing. But last week I ended up doing a show talking about D&D with some people. So
yeah, I think I caught part of that on the replay.
Yeah.
So, but no, right, folks. Unless you give us your suggestions in the comments down below, we are going to be doing top 5 Christmas movies that are not Die Hard next.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks for everyone coming out and watching this or watching it later. But subscribe to this show and follow me at the spyguyslocals.com where I try to put stuff up. And I am intending to now, I'm thinking of that this has been so much fun and getting near to 100 subscribers. I'm probably going to go and upgrade the StreamYard so I can do multiple streams and start paralleling to my Rumble account. So,
oh, nice.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on out. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, and we'll ring his bell. Ring his bell.
Bye-bye.
Let us, folks.